Have you ever wondered what makes a plant grow tall and strong? Or what gives you the energy to learn, play, and explore the world? You might think of things like sunlight or water, and you'd be right. But there's a secret ingredient, an invisible superstar that makes all of life possible. It's all around us, and actually, it makes up about 78% of the air you're breathing right now. I'm talking about nitrogen. Yes, nitrogen. It's not just some random gas floating around, it's a fundamental building block of life. It's in our DNA, our proteins, and every living cell on this planet. Without it, there would be no plants, no animals, and certainly no you. Now hold on a second. If the air is packed with nitrogen, why do farmers spend so much time and money adding nitrogen fertilizers to their fields? It seems like plants should just be able to grab it right out of the air, right? Well, here's the twist. The nitrogen in our atmosphere, known as N2, is incredibly stable. Its two atoms are held together by a powerful triple bond, one of the strongest bonds in nature. This makes it unusable for most living things. Plants can't just breathe it in. It's like being surrounded by locked treasure chests with no key. This is where things get really interesting. For life to thrive, that atmospheric nitrogen must be fixed. Are you ready to unlock the secrets of this amazing cycle? Let's dive in. The first and most important step in our journey is nitrogen fixation. This is the process of converting that stubborn atmospheric nitrogen, N2, into ammonia, NH3. Think of it as unlocking the treasure chest. One dramatic method is lightning. A strike packs enough energy to break nitrogen's triple bond. Freed nitrogen atoms combine with oxygen to form nitrogen oxides. Those dissolve in rain and fall as nitrates, ready for plants. Nature's electrifying fertilizer factory. Lightning is spectacular, but only a small fraction. The real heavy lifters are nitrogen-fixing bacteria. Others partner with plants, especially legumes, soybeans, peas, clover, alfalfa. These bacteria live in tiny nodules on roots. There they pull nitrogen from soil air pockets and convert it into ammonia for the plant. The plant, in turn, feeds the bacteria sugars. Perfect symbiosis. This partnership underpins sustainable agriculture. Farmers have long used legumes to enrich soil. Cover crops, like clover in the off-season, host these bacteria and boost soil nitrogen for the next cash crop. Humans also fix nitrogen industrially. The Haber-Bosch process uses high heat and pressure to combine nitrogen with hydrogen to make ammonia. It's credited with feeding billions by producing synthetic fertilizer. But it's energy-intensive, so whether by a flash of lightning, a tiny bacterium, or a giant factory, fixation is the essential first step. Once nitrogen has been fixed into ammonia, or NH3, our journey is far from over. While some plants can absorb ammonia directly, most prefer their nitrogen in another form, nitrates or NO3-. This is where the next crucial stage, called nitrification, comes into play. Think of this as the soil's microscopic food court, where different bacteria get to work preparing the main course. The process happens in two steps carried out by two different groups of specialized bacteria. The first group of bacteria, often from the genus Nitrosomonas, gets to work on the ammonia. They are like the prep cooks of the soil. These bacteria oxidize the ammonia, which means they combine it with oxygen. This chemical reaction converts the ammonia into nitrite or NO2-. However, nitrite isn't the final product. It can actually be toxic to plants in high concentrations. Now, the second group of bacteria, typically from the genus Nitrobacter, takes over. These are the master chefs who put the finishing touches on the meal. They rapidly oxidize the nitrite, converting it into nitrate or NO3-. Nitrate is the 5-star gourmet nitrogen source for most plants. It's highly soluble in water, which means it can be easily absorbed by plant roots. Finally, we reach the stage every farmer is waiting for, assimilation. This is the moment the plant gets to eat. Through their roots, plants absorb the nitrates and some ammonia from the soil. Once inside the plant, this nitrogen is assimilated. It's incorporated into essential organic molecules. The plant uses it to build amino acids, create chlorophyll, and assemble its very own DNA and RNA. This is how nitrogen from the soil becomes the very substance of the plant, its leaves, stems, roots, and fruits. Section 4. The Circle of Life and Decay. Ammonification. So, plants have absorbed the nitrogen and used it to grow big and strong. Animals, including us, then eat the plants, and the nitrogen is transferred up the food chain. It becomes part of our bodies, building our muscles, enzymes, and genetic code. But what happens when these organisms, plants and animals, die? And what about their waste products, like manure or urine? Does the nitrogen just stay locked away forever? Of course not. The cycle must continue, and this is where the great recyclers of the ecosystem step in for a process called ammonification. Ammonification is essentially the process of decomposition. When a plant dies or an animal excretes waste, a whole host of decomposers get to work. These include various types of bacteria and fungi living in the soil. They are nature's cleanup crew, and their job is to break down the complex organic matter found in dead organisms and waste products. They consume these materials to get energy, and in doing so, they release the nitrogen that was locked away in the proteins, DNA, and other organic molecules of the deceased organism. They are unlocking the nitrogen from its biological form. During this decomposition process, the organic nitrogen is converted back into an inorganic form, specifically ammonia and ammonium ions. This is why the process is called ammonification. It's the making of ammonia. This is a hugely important step because it returns the valuable nitrogen to the soil in a form that can re-enter the cycle. In agriculture, this process is happening all the time. When a farmer plows leftover crop residues like corn stalks back into the field, decomposers get to work, returning the nitrogen from those stalks to the soil. The same thing happens when farmers spread manure or compost on their fields. They are essentially feeding the decomposers and kickstarting the ammonification process to enrich the soil with recycled nitrogen. It's a beautiful, efficient system that turns death and decay into the raw materials for new life. It truly highlights that in nature, nothing is ever wasted. Section 5. The Great Escape. Denitrification and the cycle's end. We've seen nitrogen get fixed from the air, converted into nitrates, absorbed into plants, recycled from dead organic matter. If this were the whole story, nitrogen would accumulate in soil and oceans, and the atmosphere would run out. There has to be a way for nitrogen to return to the air, completing the cycle. This final, crucial step is called denitrification. It's the great escape. Nitrogen gas released back into the atmosphere, balancing the system. Denitrification is carried out by a group of specialized bacteria. Denitrifying bacteria can live with very little oxygen. They thrive in waterlogged soils, deep soil layers, wetlands where the ground is saturated. In these oxygen-poor environments, bacteria need a way to breathe. Instead of oxygen, they use nitrates as an oxygen substitute. Using nitrates, they chemically convert them back into nitrogen gas. Step by step, they strip oxygen atoms and release harmless N2 gas. The gas bubbles up through the soil and escapes to the atmosphere. It rejoins the reservoir of nitrogen that makes up 78% of our air. This completes the loop, from the air to the soil, into life, and back to the air again. The journey is complete and planetary balance is maintained. For farmers, denitrification matters. Waterlogged, compacted fields drop soil oxygen, favoring denitrifiers. Valuable nitrate fertilizer can be lost as gas before plants use it. That's why good drainage and aeration are crucial for crop health and fertilizer efficiency. The nitrogen cycle is a delicate dance. Every step matters. Thanks for joining this journey through soil science. What part surprised you most? Share in the comments and tell us what scientific secrets to explore next. Don't forget to like this video if it helped you understand the nitrogen cycle, subscribe for more agricultural science content, and share it with fellow students who need to master these concepts. Let us know in the comments what other agricultural science topics you'd like us to explore: phosphorus cycle, soil pH, plant nutrition, or sustainable farming practices. Remember, understanding these natural cycles helps us become better stewards of our planet and more successful in sustainable agriculture. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep growing. See you in the next video.